What's up people, it's Wasabi and I'm back with another review. TRUTHEAR sent me these IEMs. Thank you TRUTHEAR. But as always with my content, these are my thoughts, personal opinions and experiences with the product. And today we have the TRUTHEAR Nova. Now here's a quick look at the packaging because that's what you pay for too. The packaging, ooh, waifu. It looks pretty nice, I do like this art style. Everything is very nicely packaged and presented here. First up you have an assortment of ear tips, double flange, phone tips, and your standard silicone rubber tips with 3 sizes, small, medium and large. The Nova IEMs fit deep inside this foam piece. It comes with a carrying pouch and inside the pouch you have a braided cloth cable, an instruction manual and warranty card, and that's pretty much all that's included in the box. Now before we go any further, let's manage some expectations here real quick. TRUTHEAR as a company are still relatively new considering that they first started in 2022. The brand is pretty well known amongst gamers for the zeros and hexas, which are some pretty good affordable IEMs. And today we are taking a look at the TRUTHEAR Nova, which has been out for quite some time now, since sometime last September, and it's available for a price of about $150. TRUTHEAR sent me these IEMs to test and share my thoughts on them and how I feel about it for gamers, so that's what I'm gonna do. Just keep in mind that my viewers are a mix of both casual and competitive gamers, so this review is gonna focus more on my fellow gamers who are looking for good IEMs for gaming. I think these IEMs look absolutely stunning with the brilliant blue detail in the faceplate, nice layered textures with a touch of sparkle in the blue in a single piece resin shell. The included cable is a braided multi-core single crystal copper cable. Looks very cool with this black and blue weave. The weave isn't very tight though, which does not ruin your experience, but it's something you would notice. These IEMs have a glossy black finish, so you would probably want to keep a microfiber cloth in hand. There's a nice pouch that they've included with these IEMs, and just to share that the pouch is designed with Saffiano leather. Well, it's not made of real calf's leather, but it's what you would mostly see on Prada handbags because they were the first to invent it. A very similar cross-hatch pattern with the resin coating makes leather more resistant to scratches and elements. Just a little detail if you didn't know. The build quality here is good. These have a high-quality 3D printed resin structure, but just don't expect them to be completely indestructible though. It's a nice molded shape, though I must say that they look and feel pretty huge. The shell is pretty massive here, and it does feel like you're putting 2 massive pieces of resin into your ears. On the bright side, these are very lightweight and they do come with an assortment of ear tips. The tip here is pretty long, so it should be alright for most, but may not be suitable for smaller ear canals. The ear hook support ends pretty short here for more flexibility with the cable over your ears. They are pretty nice and do not get in the way when I wear my glasses. Just to share, I do find that the cable is a little rough and could probably do with a softer fabric for a more comfortable experience over your ears. And another thing is that you can hear a lot of the noise from the cable when you turn your head or move around. Overall, I find these IEMs to have a decent amount of comfort, but of course, everyone's ears anatomy is a little different, so just keep in mind that what's comfortable for me may not be the same for you. The Novas follow closely to the Harman 2019 V2 tuning target curve. These are hybrid in-ear monitors with 1 dynamic driver and 4 balanced armatures on each side. Very smooth treble on these, which I find enjoyable and does not come off too harsh even at higher volumes. Nice emphasis in the upper mid-range, decent timbre, good resolution, and the upper mid-range is pretty upfront with the vocals, nice details, and works well with a smooth treble. Good dynamic bass that's nicely textured. The bass on these are pretty large and have a nice weight to it and a decent rumble. The bass hits with a good amount of slam and doesn't come off too controlled here. It's a nice thumpy bass that I find enjoyable for hip-hop and R&B. Soundstage is a little narrower than I would like, but it still gives you a good sense of width, height, and depth. Imaging is pretty good and you can pick out where sounds are coming from rather decently. So how are these for gaming? I'm gonna mention Valorant as point of reference because it is what I currently play the most. For gaming, I think they are alright. The basic character of these IEMs give a nice immersive experience for casual and story-driven games, even when there's a lot going on. For competitive games like Valorant and Counter-Strike, these are not my preferred choice of IEMs. Personally, I would prefer a wider soundstage for a greater degree of spatial awareness because the soundstage on these feels slightly narrow. Sound separation is good though, and imaging is decent enough to identify sound sources. I feel for competitive gaming, it could be a little more upfront with the details in the treble and upper mid-range, and a little more subtle with the bass because the bass here are pretty big on these IEMs and do come off rather distracting in game. So in conclusion, are the TRUTHEAR Novas good IEMs for gamers? I would say I enjoyed them a lot more for casual games than competitive. What I like about these IEMs is that if you plan on using them for long hours of gaming, you don't feel much fatigue. It's a rather smooth listening experience here. Noise isolation is pretty good and includes a good assortment of ear tips. Imaging and sound separation is good, but I feel the soundstage could be a little wider. And I feel it could do with a little more detail in the treble and upper mid-range for competitive gaming. Like I said before, the bass is pretty big on these. It's great if you enjoy more bass in your game, but I find it to be a little too distracting and too much for competitive play. These are IEMs that I enjoy for just casual gaming and just having a good listening experience. And for sure, it sounds a lot better than a lot of gaming headsets on the market. You get decent noise isolation with the standard ear tips, but if that's not enough, you can try out the other ear tips that they include. Just keep in mind that the different ear tips do change the sound a little. As always, these are my thoughts, personal opinions, and experiences with these IEMs from a gamer's perspective. There are many types of gamers. Some casually play for 1 to 2 hours at the end of a workday and just want the most enjoyable experience with that time, which I feel the Novas make a pretty good option. While some gamers put in the hours to climb the ranks and prefer IEMs that gives them the edge for competitive play. The TRUTHEAR NOVA for $150 is not an IEM I would use considering the games that I play, but I really can't say that the Novas are bad IEMs. Personally, I feel you get a lot more value out of these if you want to get IEMs for nice bass for music. For gaming, I would recommend having a look at TRUTHEAR Zero or Hexas, especially if you are looking for your first IEMs for gaming. Those have been very popular options for gamers at a very good price. Big thanks to TRUTHEAR for sending these IEMs over. As always, thank you for watching. If you enjoyed the video or found it helpful in any way, please leave a like and subscribe to support the channel, and I guess I'll see you in the next one.